Hitler's darkest secret, the truth no one dared to tell. April 30th, 1945. Berlin is burning. Soviet tanks roll through the streets. In a bunker 10 meters below the Reich Chancellery, a single gunshot echoes. Adolf Hitler is dead. Eva Braun lies beside him. Their bodies are carried outside, doused in gasoline and burned. The world celebrates. The nightmare is over. Justice has prevailed. Or has it? Because in the weeks that followed, something strange began to happen. Allied intelligence officers started receiving reports. Disturbing reports. Reports that didn't make sense. A submarine spotted off the coast of Argentina, 2 months after Germany's surrender. Witnesses in Colombia claiming they saw Hitler alive. Bank accounts in Switzerland still active. Nazi officials disappearing into thin air with no trace. The FBI opened file number 6553615, title Hitler's Escape. For decades, this file remained classified. When it was finally released in 2017, the world discovered something horrifying. The United States government had investigated hundreds of credible sightings of Hitler in South America, Spain, even Antarctica, and they never told anyone. But that's not even the darkest part, because while the world was searching for Hitler, the Allies were actively helping thousands of other Nazis escape. Not just low-level soldiers, not just bureaucrats. We're talking about SS officers, concentration camp commanders, scientists who conducted experiments on human beings, the architects of genocide, and the most disturbing truth of all, many of them weren't running from justice. They were being recruited by the United States, by the Soviet Union, with the help of the Vatican. Their crimes were erased, their identities were changed, their expertise was valued more than the lives they destroyed. Today, you're going to discover the truth that governments buried for 70 years. The truth about Operation Paperclip, the truth about the Rat Line, the truth about what really happened after the fall of the Third Reich. Because Hitler may have died in 1945, but his legacy, his scientists, his secrets, they never died at all. Real historical context. May 1945. Germany has officially surrendered. The Nuremberg trials are being prepared. The world demands justice for the Holocaust. But in secret rooms in Washington, D.C., a very different conversation is taking place. The Joint Intelligence Objectives Agency, JIOA, has a problem. The Soviet Union is advancing rapidly. They're capturing German scientists. They're seizing research facilities. They're collecting every piece of advanced Nazi technology they can find. And American intelligence knows one terrifying truth. The Nazis were ahead. Ahead in rocketry, ahead in jet propulsion, ahead in chemical weapons, ahead in biological warfare. If the Soviets get all that knowledge, America loses the next war before it even begins. So a decision is made, a decision that will haunt American history for decades. Operation Paperclip is born. The mission: bring Nazi scientists to America. The problem: they're war criminals. The solution: lie about it. President Truman had issued a direct order. No Nazi party members, no war criminals, no exceptions. The JIOA ignored him. They began systematically falsifying records, scrubbing files clean, creating new identities, manufacturing fake backgrounds, and one by one, the Nazis arrived in America. Wernher von Braun, the man who built the V-2 rocket, the weapon that killed over 9,000 civilians in London and Antwerp, the same rocket built by 20,000 slave laborers, 12,000 of whom died during construction. Von Braun wasn't just aware of this. He personally visited the underground factory at Mittelbau-Dora. He saw the corpses. He saw the skeletal prisoners. He ordered production to continue. In 1945, he surrendered to American forces. By 1950, he was working at NASA. By 1969, his Saturn V rocket put Americans on the moon. He died a hero, never spent a day in prison. Hubertus Strughold, known as the father of space medicine, conducted experiments on prisoners at Dachau, placed humans in vacuum chambers, subjected them to extreme altitudes until their lungs exploded, froze prisoners to study hypothermia. His research became the foundation of NASA's space program. He received awards, honorary degrees. His name was on buildings. It took until 2013 for NASA to finally remove his name from their Hall of Honor. Kurt Blome, Deputy Reich health leader, experimented with biological weapons on concentration camp prisoners, injected them with plague, with typhus, with cholera. In 1945, he was arrested and tried at Nuremberg. He was acquitted, despite overwhelming evidence. Why? Because 2 months before the trial, American intelligence had already made him an offer. Work for us, and we'll make this go away. He accepted. By 1951, he was working for the U.S. Army Chemical Corps, advising on biological warfare, using the same methods he used at Auschwitz. In total, Operation Paperclip brought over 1,600 Nazi scientists to America. Not just scientists, engineers, doctors, intelligence officers. Some worked for NASA, others for the CIA, the Pentagon, private defense contractors. Their work helped America win the space race, develop ICBMs, create chemical weapons programs, build the foundation of modern intelligence operations. And the American people had no idea, because the program was classified until 1973. When the truth finally came out, most of the Nazis were already dead. No trials, no justice, no accountability, just results. And that was the entire point. Real documentary evidence, while Operation Paperclip was secretly recruiting Nazis. Another mystery was unfolding, a mystery that would consume FBI resources for over a decade. The mystery of whether Adolf Hitler actually died in Berlin. April 30th, 1945. Hitler allegedly shoots himself. His body is burned in a shell crater outside the bunker. But here's the problem. The Soviets arrived first. They recovered the remains, and they told no one what they found. For months, Stalin refused to confirm Hitler's death. In fact, at the Potsdam Conference in July 1945, Stalin told President Truman directly, "Hitler is not dead, he escaped." Was Stalin lying, playing mind games, or did he know something the West didn't? The FBI didn't know, so they started investigating, and what they found was disturbing. July 1945, Argentina. A CIA informant reports that a German submarine arrived at the Argentine coast. The date, July 10, 1945, 2.5 months after Berlin fell. The report states, submarine transported high-ranking Nazi officials. Destination unknown. Argentine authorities were ordered not to investigate. September 1945, Colombia. Multiple witnesses report seeing a man matching Hitler's description in a small town near Tunja. The FBI dispatches an agent. He interviews locals, examines a photograph. His report reads, subject bears strong resemblance, age appropriate, facial structure consistent. Requires further investigation. The investigation was closed. No explanation given. 1952, Brazil. Former German intelligence officer Wilhelm Canaris Jr. contacts the CIA. He claims his father helped Hitler escape to Brazil via submarine. He provides detailed escape routes, names of collaborators, locations of safe houses. The CIA opens a file, investigates for 3 years, then closes it. Conclusion: unable to verify. Investigation suspended. 1955, the photograph. A former SS officer approaches U.S. intelligence in Venezuela. He carries a photograph. The photo shows a man in his mid-60s, slight mustache, receding hairline, standing with several other men in what appears to be a South American villa. The agent writes, physical characteristics are consistent with Hitler, aged approximately 65 years. Scar above left eye visible. Posture matches known photographs. Facial analysis recommended. Facial analysis was never conducted. The photograph disappeared. Long pause. Now, was Hitler actually alive? Almost certainly not. Dental records recovered by the Soviets and finally released in the 1990s confirmed the body in Berlin was Adolf Hitler. But here's what should terrify you. The FBI took these reports seriously. For over a decade, they investigated hundreds of sightings, spent thousands of man-hours, allocated significant resources, and they never told the public. Why? Because if they admitted they were investigating, It meant they weren't sure. And if they weren't sure Hitler was dead, what did that say about the entire narrative of how World War II ended? More importantly, if there was even a chance that Hitler escaped, how many others definitely did? Verified historical facts. The answer is thousands. And they didn't escape by accident. They had help, organized help, from one of the most powerful institutions in the world, the Catholic Church. It was called the Rat Line, a secret network of escape routes running from Germany through Italy to South America. And at its center was the Vatican. How it worked. Step 1. A Nazi officer arrives in Rome using false papers. Step 2. He's sheltered in a Catholic monastery or church. Step 3. A priest, often working for Vatican intelligence, provides him with a fake identity document, a Red Cross travel pass, issued with Vatican approval, a visa to Argentina, Brazil, Chile, or Paraguay. Step 4. He boards a ship and disappears into South America. Thousands of Nazis used this exact route. The key figure, Bishop Alois Hudal, an Austrian bishop based in Rome, openly pro-Nazi sympathizer. After the war, he ran one of the largest rat line operations. In his own memoir, published in 1976, he admitted, "I felt duty-bound to help all those who were persecuted, including former National Socialists." Translation: he helped SS officers escape justice. Another key figure, Father Krunoslav Draganović, a Croatian priest with deep connections to the Ustasha, Croatia's fascist regime. Draganović ran rat-line operations with the direct knowledge of U.S. intelligence. In fact, declassified documents show the CIA paid him to help certain Nazis escape, as long as they agreed to provide intelligence on Soviet activities. Documented cases. Adolf Eichmann, architect of the Holocaust, responsible for the deportation of millions to death camps, escaped to Argentina in 1950 using Vatican rat line, lived under the name Ricardo Clement, worked in a Mercedes-Benz factory, raised a family. He lived freely for 10 years before Mossad agents kidnapped him in 1960. Joseph Mengele, the Angel of Death, conducted grotesque medical experiments on prisoners at Auschwitz, escaped to Argentina, then Paraguay, then Brazil, used Vatican-provided documents, lived under multiple false names. He was never captured. Died in 1979, swimming at a beach in Brazil. Franz Stangl, commandant of Treblinka extermination camp, oversaw the murder of 900,000 people, escaped via rat line to Brazil in 1951, worked openly at a Volkswagen factory, lived freely until 1967 when he was finally arrested. Klaus Barbie, the Butcher of Lyon, Gestapo chief responsible for torturing and killing thousands of French resistance members, escaped to Bolivia with U.S. intelligence help. He worked for the U.S. Army Counterintelligence Corps for years before being relocated. He wasn't extradited until 1983. These aren't isolated cases. Historians estimate between 5,000 and 10,000 Nazis escaped via the rat line. Most were never caught. Most lived full lives, died peacefully, never faced justice. And the Vatican? They admitted involvement, but claimed they were just helping refugees. No one was ever held accountable. Declassified program, verified facts. By the 1950s, the Cold War was in full swing. The United States and Soviet Union were locked in a battle for global supremacy, and both sides believed the key to victory wasn't just nuclear weapons. It was the human mind. Imagine an army that feels no fear, soldiers who follow orders without question, spies who can't reveal secrets even under torture, enemies who can be programmed to assassinate their own leaders. This wasn't science fiction. This was the goal of Project MK-Ultra. In 1953, CIA Director Allen Dulles authorized the program. Official objective: research into behavioral modification. Real objective: mind control. And the foundation of this program came directly from Nazi research, the Nazi connection. During World War II, Nazi doctors conducted horrific experiments on concentration camp prisoners, testing the limits of human pain tolerance, inducing psychological breaks through torture, experimenting with drugs like mescaline to extract information, studying how to control behavior through trauma. When Operation Paperclip brought Nazi scientists to America, this research came with them. Kurt Blome, who experimented with bioweapons on prisoners, advised on drug resistance. Walter Schreiber, who oversaw freezing experiments at Dachau, consulted on extreme interrogation, and their methods became the blueprint for MK-Ultra. What MK-Ultra actually did, the CIA conducted experiments on unwitting American citizens. No consent, no knowledge, no oversight. Subproject 68, Dr. Donald Ewan Cameron. At McGill University in Montreal, Dr. Cameron conducted psychic driving experiments. Patients admitted for anxiety or depression were put into drug-induced comas for weeks, subjected to electroshock therapy at 30-40 times normal power, forced to listen to recorded messages for 16 hours a day, kept in sensory deprivation chambers. The goal: erase their memories and rebuild their personalities. The result: many were left permanently brain damaged. Subproject 3, LSD experiments. The CIA dosed hundreds of people with LSD without their knowledge. Bar patrons, prisoners, mental patients, even CIA employees. In 1953, CIA officer Frank Olson was secretly dosed with LSD during a retreat. A week later, he fell to his death from a 13th floor hotel window. The CIA called it suicide. His family called it murder. Operation Midnight Climax. The CIA set up brothels in San Francisco and New York. Prostitutes on CIA payroll drugged clients with LSD. CIA agents watched through two-way mirrors, studying how the drugs affected behavior. This went on for 8 years. The cover-up. In 1973, as Watergate was exposing government corruption, CIA Director Richard Helms ordered all MK-Ultra files destroyed. But a filing error saved approximately 20,000 documents. They were discovered in 1977. Congressional hearings followed. The world learned that the US government had experimented on its own citizens, used Nazi methods, destroyed evidence, lied for decades. The consequences: no one went to prison. Some victims received settlements. The CIA issued an apology. And that was it. But here's the terrifying question. If MK-Ultra ran from 1953 to 1973, and files were destroyed in 1973, how do we know it actually stopped? We don't. We only know what they admitted to. The rest is still classified. Hitler's obsessions weren't limited to military power. He believed in something far stranger. He believed in ancient supernatural forces, and he dedicated enormous resources to finding them. The Ahnenerbe. In 1935, Hitler created the Ahnenerbe, the Ancestral Heritage Society. Officially, a research institute studying Germanic history. Actually, a paranormal research organization searching for mystical artifacts and lost civilizations. They sent expeditions across the world. Tibet, 1938-1939, led by Ernst Schaefer. Mission: find evidence of an ancient Aryan civilization. They measured skulls, studied monasteries, and searched for religious texts. Iceland, 1938, searching for Nordic runes and ancient power sites. South America, 1937-1938, looking for lost German colonies and pre-Columbian Aryan connections. But the strangest mission of all, Antarctica, New Swabia, 1938-1939. The Nazis launched an expedition to Antarctica. They claimed a 600,000 square kilometer territory, named it Neuschwabenland, New Swabia. They dropped Nazi flags across the region, took thousands of aerial photographs, mapped warm water areas, ice-free zones, allegedly built a base. Why? Official reason: whaling operations. But declassified documents suggest they were searching for mineral resources, strategic military positions, and according to some documents, something else. The mystery deepens. At the end of World War II, multiple German U-boats disappeared. U-530 and U-977 both surrendered in Argentina, months after Germany's surrender. Their captains were interrogated. Both claimed they were simply fleeing, but their routes led south, toward Antarctica. Operation High Jump, 1947. 2 years after the war, the U.S. launched the largest Antarctic expedition in history. 4,700 men, 13 ships, multiple aircraft, led by Admiral Richard Byrd. Official mission: training and scientific research. But the scale was military, and it was originally planned to last 6 to 8 months. It was aborted after 8 weeks. Admiral Byrd gave a strange interview afterwards, stating, "It is necessary for the USA to take defensive actions against enemy air fighters which come from the polar regions." Enemy fighters? In 1947? In Antarctica? The report was classified. The full mission details remain classified to this day. What were they really looking for? Nazi bases? Advanced technology? Something else entirely? We may never know. But one thing is certain. The Nazis went to Antarctica, and the US went looking for what they left behind. May 8, 1945. Victory in Europe Day. The world celebrated the end of the Third Reich. But the truth is far more complicated. Hitler may have died in Berlin, but his scientists built the rockets that took America to the moon. His intelligence officers shaped Cold War espionage. His doctors' experiments became CIA mind control programs. His escape networks were protected by the Vatican and Allied intelligence. And his obsession with the occult led to mysteries we're still trying to solve. The uncomfortable truth: we like to think of history in simple terms: good versus evil, heroes and villains, victory and defeat. But the real story is darker. Because when the war ended, the victors didn't seek justice for everyone. They sought advantage. And if that meant protecting Nazis, erasing their crimes, using their knowledge, then that's exactly what they did. For 70 years, these secrets were buried. Files were classified, records were destroyed, witnesses were silenced. But slowly, the truth is emerging. Declassified documents, investigative journalism, historical research. And what we're discovering is this: Hitler's darkest secret, the truth no one dared to tell, isn't that Hitler survived, it's that his legacy was never defeated. It was absorbed, rebranded, repurposed. The monsters didn't disappear after World War II. Some of them just changed uniforms. And the choices made in 1945, the deals struck in secret, the crimes forgiven for convenience, they echo into our world today. Because history isn't just about what happened. It's about what we chose to forget and who we chose to protect. The truth no one dared to tell until now.